Welcome back to the Sick Podcast, guys. Today we have Paul. Paul, how you feeling today? I want to ride a T-Rex, man.
You're gonna ride a T-Rex. All right.
In a sexual way, or
might be too much for you to handle.
Unless
We have to try it, bro.
So this is a video on YouTube for like Robot Chicken, and it's about like some just like old TV show called like Dream Island or something. And one guy's dream that he wants to make true is that he wants to fuck a dinosaur. So what he does is that he like shoves himself in like hole inside like the dinosaur's like butthole, and then he just gets off on that.
I'm not sure if I want to go back to dinosaur time anymore. It's funny.
I thought that was based on you.
wait, that wasn't your show, Dream Island?
Okay, guys, I try to get rid of my past. Okay.
Hang on. Paul, you actually have some interesting dreams, though, right? Like you were telling us about this before the show started. Like you have some interesting dreams, right?
About the dinosaurs?
Yeah, a lot about dinosaurs actually. They usually end with me being eaten by one.
Oh no.
Can you just walk us through like maybe one of the most memorable dinosaur stories you have?
Okay, so this one is very dear to my heart because it made no sense to me. But basically,
Wait, how long ago was this one?
Oh, I say like 3 months ago.
Oh, okay.
It was relatively
Pretty
recent.
So I'm not kidding. The first thing I'm basically at a college campus, and I'm just could be. I'm just walking down the sidewalk, and all of a sudden I hear this massive roar behind me, and I could feel it. It was a T-Rex coming after my life. So I literally just started running as fast as I could. Ran. And I look back, and it's a yellow, giant T-Rex chasing me. And as soon as I saw cover, I tried to get to it. T-Rex literally just knocked down the cover, and I had to keep running. Eventually it caught me, and unfortunately I remember every single sensation of it chewing me to bits.
Damn.
Felt my bones being crushed.
Felt that.
I guess if my mind were to like imagine the pain of being eaten alive by a T-Rex, then yes, I remember every single crunch the T-Rex took of my body.
That's horrifying.
Every single bone being crushed and eaten.
So you have like multi-dimensional like dream experiences then, in the sense that it's not just kind of a visual experience, it's also you can feel things.
It's like a fourth wall experience.
That's actually pretty interesting. Like, do you have any other experiences like that?
Actually, most of my dreams would be like that.
What's another example?
So one of my most vivid dreams of all time is this is a really old dream. Like almost, I say this when I was 7, but I still remember it very clearly because I remember all the sensations, even the thrill of being in that dream. And it was to me at the time, it was super scary. Basically, I actually went to my own house, followed by like 7 people I hated. No, I won't lie. I hated these people when I was a kid.
There are people you actually knew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so like people I actually knew went to my house, and all of a sudden the sky turned dark, and my house had transformed into a freaking haunted mansion.
Wow.
And now you're stuck in this house with 7 people you hate.
Basically, but it was more of a matter of survival. So we actually tried to work together. And I remember losing each person. Like watching them like get trapped into darkness, every single one of them.
Whoa.
And the one that stood out very clearly to me was like one of the people, he started battling the skeleton warrior, and he at first got the upper hand, but then he pinned him to the ground, and all of a sudden the skeleton warrior opened its ribs and sucked him in.
Damn.
And he died.
That sounds like I would play that video game.
Yeah, I was just about to say that sounds like an amazing boss. Like,
I would play that.
I would say it's good to actually like. I would say it'd be a decent film adaptation, a decent video game, a horrible real life experience.
That's true. I like so you know Riza, my girlfriend Riza, she has always like these crazy like fantasy-scape kind of dreams and stuff like that. And I feel like mine are like always pretty boring in comparison. But I feel like a lot of the shit that she dreams of could also be like a movie or a game. And I guess yours are kind of like that too.
Mm-hmm. Definitely could be. I definitely in my childhood I spent a lot of time with gaming, so it could be that my mentality could be like that when I'm dreaming.
That's true, but it's like I also play a ton of games, but I don't necessarily dream in like the context of games. Like it's usually in like a more real kind of context, or like more realistic anyway.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just jump in and just be like, I'm more with Chris here, where my dreams are more like sometimes they're influenced by like maybe my emotions or my feelings, but I've never actually had it in a kind of game like state, even though I'm like a gamer through and through. Like I actually remember one, and it kind of has the same vibe as yours. So like I'm in my house, and there's like I wake up, or at least I dream that I wake up. I go out into the hallway and I'm walking, and suddenly there's one of those, those like little bugs that only come out during like certain season. They look like a peanut. It looks like a literal like roasted peanut.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But then it flies. It's like a flying cockroach, but it's really small.
Oh
yeah.
Right, and I've always hated those since I was a kid. Like I've had like a pure hatred for that. I dreamt that there was a fucking locust swarm of that in my house.
That's creepy.
Not in my room. Once I got out of my room, in the hallway and in the front room, it was like I just see that everywhere. And the weirdest thing is, then this is where it got really creepy. One of the people, there was a person I did not like at the time. He was sitting right there, cross-legged, in the middle of the main room, that front room, with no bugs around him. He had like this aura like around him that would stop any bugs from coming to him. And he's like, "You're fighting too hard. You gotta just accept it and stop fighting, and then they'll go away." And in my head, I'm like, "What? This is like quicksand or something?" And I don't know. I woke up in a sweat. Like there was no resolution to the story. I just woke up and felt like, "What the fuck was that?"
It was like kind of a memorable nightmare for you, right?
Yeah, so it was like nightmare level, but I mean, there's nothing scary about it. But it was scary to me because I hated the bugs.
It's pretty scary actually. Like I'd be pretty freaked
Also,
out.
it was a dude I did not like. Like I really disliked this guy, and he's like trying to help me through a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, I'm not willing to accept it at that time. I'm freaking out. Yeah, I just remember that.
Got you.
So it didn't really have a game sort of vibe.
Do you ever have recurring dreams, Paul?
I had once, and it was actually the same nightmare I just told you about, the whole haunted mansion one.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up. I say like there were only like 3 of us left. I woke up. I was so scared. I was terrified. Tried to go back to sleep. When I fell back asleep, I was back in the same situation I woken up from, and the nightmare just continued on.
Oh, I hate that.
Oh, so it wasn't like it didn't happen again, but it resumed.
It resumed, yes.
I absolutely hate when I wake up from a shitty dream and it's only like maybe 3 or something in the morning, 4 in the morning, and I know I've got a couple good hours of sleep left, but as soon as I close my eyes, I can see the stuff again. Like I'm still kind of in that half awake, half sleep kind of mentality or whatever. And as soon as you start closing your eyes and you start to drift off again, you kind of get sucked back into that place that you just got out of. I hate that feeling.
It's kind of like a conscious versus subconscious thing. It's like the only thing you were able to actually realize was I got more time to sleep. So
Yeah.
then your mind went right back to sleep, but it didn't shake off anything else, and now you're back in that dream. Damn, that sucks. For me, it's kind of like the opposite, where I could have been having a good dream, but some weird stimulus, maybe someone shaking me awake, maybe it's a loud noise, maybe it could be my cat, whatever. There's an external stimulus that makes me wake up, but in my dream I don't realize that stimulus. Inside the dream, it's like a door banged open or something, whatever.
Oh yeah.
So like it translates to something else. I wake up and I realize, oh, it was something else, but it's always at the most inopportune moments. I'm about to take a bite of something. I'm about to like jump straight into a pool. We're about to play a sport, and like I'm about to like hit the ball or something. Like it's always at the most inopportune moments that I wake up. And then if it just so happens to be I have more time to sleep, it was too jarring for me to go back to the same dream.
I see.
Like my conscious took over by that time. I'm like, I want to go back to that dream, but I can't.
I have like your story just now just like made me remember something from like really, really early in my childhood. So this was back, I was probably in maybe 4th grade, 5th grade, maybe a little bit younger even. So the night before, I had just gone out to a store with my parents, and we bought this SpongeBob alarm clock. And I was like super jazzed to use this alarm clock because it was SpongeBob, and I was just like hyped for it. So I set the alarm unnecessarily early, like 6 in the morning, because I just wanted to hear what it sounded like. And I remember the dream I was having. I was going through some kind of like laboratory, and I was going up to this big like computer thing, and I had to do some kind of thing and like stop the thing from like blowing up or something like that. And so I get all the way up there, and I'm putting in the code to deactivate the explosion or whatever's going to happen. I can't really remember. But as I'm putting it in, I just hear this like blaring like like that, and I was like freaking out because I was like, what the fuck? I thought I had put in the password. Like, this shouldn't be exploding right now. And it just kept going and going and going. And then I woke up, and it was my alarm clock making noise, and it was I was interpreting it in my dream as whatever was happening in the dream, especially because it was fitting the context somehow, like miraculously. It made me think in the dream that I had like majorly fucked up, and instead of like saving the day, I was like definitely gonna die or something like that. And so that was strange.
Your imitation of an alarm clock was disturbingly accurate.
Thank you. I practice. I can actually make a lot of noise. You can ask my sister.
You just waltz in a room every once in a while. She's sleeping.
Dude,
and go.
I do that like a lot. Like sometimes I'll go into my sister's room and I'll just like be like, Sarah, doesn't this sound like a fire alarm? I know. I'll be like, I'll just do it for like so long. I'll just be like, tell me that doesn't sound like a fire alarm. She's like so mad at me.
I can imagine.
I do like a lot of stuff to her. Like sometimes I'll come in and I'll put on like an ABBA song, like Dancing Queen, or like I don't know, something like that, like some kind of old song, and I'll make sure that I dance as like stupidly as possible for the entire duration of the song, and I don't really make eye contact with her, only sometimes, and then when it's over, I walk out like it never happened. The only reason I walk out is so she can't see how hard I'm breathing.
That's fair. You gotta walk out with grace at least.
That's when you just go back to sleep.
Chris goes back.
That's when I take a shower because I'm so fucking sweaty because I'm out of shape.
Chris gets to sleep in peace while your sister's just fucking scarred.
Yeah, because that's a good workout, man. Take a nice cold shower after, and you're good to go.
There was this one dream I had. It was when I first started playing Skyrim. It was probably one of the best dreams.
Did you have that meme dream?
The meme dream?
Yeah.
Finally awake.
Yeah. You're finally awake. You never seen that?
Nah. Well, anyways, it was like this nice, like long ass table, like wooden table. The lighting was like orange, you know. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. There was like meat on the table. It was very Skyrim-y.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it was just like that huge, like it was like a hall table, and there was like so much food. And you know, in movies when they portray someone in a dream and it's kind of hazy, and then someone's shaking them out of like, hey, wake up, and it's kind of like bubbly, and then the whole thing goes in mist. It felt exactly like that. I literally felt like it going away, and I'm like, no, I gotta eat first. And then it's just my dad waking me up, and I woke up,
Hey.
and I'm like, no. My dad was like, why are you yelling at me? He's like, I was gonna eat, and he's like, wow, you're like a little retarded. he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're just dreaming.
Man, I remember from the Ghost Gone Wild episode, you actually had a pretty interesting dream too, where it was like a dream within a dream.
Ooh, oh yeah, I can say that one again.
Yeah, I mean, go for it.
All right, for Time of Dreams. All right, so, okay, so I can't talk. I slept in a room with my two brothers, my older brother and my younger brother, and it was a bunk bed. So the bottom one was a little larger, so it would be my older brother and my younger brother, and then I would be on the top bunk. So I wake up and I'm like, damn, I need to fucking pee. Like, I need to pee bad. Like, I could feel it. And I was a kid, so like when you pee, there's like nothing stopping it. You just get out and go and pee, right? So I'm like, all right, time to get up. So I kind of creak my way over because it's like really creaky. I put my one foot down, and I kind of feel around before I drop it because my brother's not down there, and I might step on a foot or something, right? So I land, and then my other foot hits the floor, and then I'm like, all right, time to go. I'm trying to not be too loud because obviously they're trying to sleep. I go outside of my room. Right as you exit my room, there's like this hallway that if I look to the left, it's that main room, which is where the other dream came in, where I saw the dude in the locust form. But on my right is the other end of the hallway. It's just the bathroom. So I open the door, go inside, close the door, sit down, and man, the relief I feel is otherworldly, right? You know when you have like a pee and you just gotta really, really let loose. It felt great, and then I woke up. I was still dreaming. I dreamt that I woke up, went to use the bathroom. All of it felt so real, and then I woke up and I actually peed my pants. I was still in bed.
Man, you ever have those dreams? Okay, first, yeah, like that's fucking hilarious. By the way, it like ties into like all these like weird like senses that we can feel and stuff like that.
I felt like Inception, dude, like the movie Inception.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like Paul. Eros had like a full blown like Inception moment.
Oh yeah.
But like you know those dreams where, in the moment that you're dreaming, like nothing's going right at all, and everything is just like terrible, and then you wake up and you realize everything was a dream. And
Okay, so
you didn't
I
live
have
through any of that?
I have 6 or 7 of those,
Okay,
and they're all the same.
really
Like it's a recurring dream. I was remembering this when you were asking Paul about the recurring dream.
okay.
I've had a recurring dream that actually stopped just a few weeks ago, and it started, I want to say, maybe like half a month ago. Sorry, half a year, like 6 months ago. So like in this last half year period, but not anymore. There's been this wild, I don't know, it might have just been like tumultuous brain activity. I don't know what the fuck's been going on, but I've had this dream where I have this black Saturn view, and it's kind of like a hefty car, and it don't turn that great. And I dream all the time that, and there's no preface to it. There's no reason I'm in the car. I'm just driving,
Yeah.
and for some reason, and this happens in like multiple dreams, I have to turn very quickly, and for some reason there's failure on my part. It's not the car's fault. It's not that the brakes don't work. It's for some reason I misjudge it, or for some reason I turn in such a way, or somebody like pops up and I don't react in time. Nobody else gets hurt, but I'm always slowly like losing control of the steering wheel and going out of control, and I flip. And this, like, I don't know, I feel like shit, and obviously a lot of stuff go through my head, right? It's like, I'm in an accident, I'm safe, my car's totaled, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? And this happened like this dream occurred multiple times, but every time I woke up, I did not feel better right off the bat. I have to like almost step by step remind myself that my car is still fine, I'm still fine.
Mm-hmm.
None of that shit was real. I didn't get pulled over. There were no cops. There was like none of that shit happened.
Right. Yeah.
And this, like, I mean, a psychologist might explain it better, but this might like be a result of certain like events in my life, or
You feel like you've lost control of something.
of my life. Yeah, like especially in this, like maybe in these last few months, I've been trying to deal with something, and
Yeah.
I just feel like my life's going out of control, and then it's like popping up in my dreams as a car crash or something, and it's just been bothering me, and it stopped relatively recently, and it hasn't popped up again, but it's always that same car. It's the car I currently drive right now, and it's just, I don't know, it just gives you this bad, not the bad feel of like, man, something bad happened, but the bad feel of like something's gonna happen. So I'm just being careful right now when I drive that car. I don't know. It's not because the dream took me somewhere. It's not like you said a T-Rex was totally chasing you, but there was nothing chasing me. There was no stimulus but myself. I feel
It's
like
just that you personally lost control of something.
like I was supposed to turn, or I didn't, or one of them was a little different. It was the same feel, same context. It was just the action was different. Instead of turning, it was the gas. At some point, I was supposed to stop giving the gas and slow down, and for some reason, my body wouldn't listen to me when I said stop, and I was just pressing the gas, and it just kept going forward and faster and faster, and then I woke up. It was crazy. That was actually relatively recently, so
Oh man.
I'm in a better place now. So
Yeah, not crashing, just going ahead and speeding up.
no, well, I mean, I haven't had the dream or anything like that dream
Okay.
in a while.
That's cool.
But-
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, we did that car crash episode, and I will say that this is not related to that at all.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
wondering. Actually,
Yeah, so yeah, it was not, because I didn't feel any of that reminiscence or anything. It was more of just current life events that maybe I felt like was spiraling out of control or whatever.
I honestly think that the car crash episode was a cursed episode.
Actually, I do too.
Oh yeah,
I don't think we gave any update about this.
Okay, well, so update about that. We recorded that on a.
It was a
Thursday?
It was a Thursday. Yeah.
Okay, it was a Thursday. My older brother, on the Wednesday before that.
That same
episode,
week.
The same week. The very day before, and he told me this after I got home, from the studio. He's like, "Yo, so I totaled my car." I'm like, "What the fuck?" So basically, he rear-ended somebody. I don't know if it was at a red light or if they were slowing down, but he rear-ended somebody, just hit him from the back, and he was completely fine. And my older brother's first response was like, much like ours, "Yo, is everybody okay?" But the first thing he did was to check the back seat of the person's car, because my older brother has a kid now, so he wants to make sure there were no kids or no one sitting in the back of the car, because that's where his kid would have been.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, it might have been a parental thing. The first thing he did was to run over and make sure there was nobody there. When I asked, "Well, you were make sure there wasn't a baby?" He said, "No, for some reason, I just had to make sure there's nobody there." But anyways, everyone was good. The cars were... their car was kind of beat up in the back, but my brother's engine got fucked, so...
Totaled.
Cars totaled, yeah.
And
so,
then,
which is crazy because when we were recording, we were talking about our stories and totaled cars and stuff like that. So that was a day before.
And it's funny you want to talk about the day after, man.
Oh yeah. So one of my friends, literally, he was trying to come hang out with us when we were trying to record again, but we didn't record that day. But
yeah, it was a very so that was Thursday. On
day after,
Friday,
Friday.
It was me, Sonny, and Chris, and we were just hanging out this time.
Yeah.
And
then Sonny's friend, he was due to come hang out with us.
And then literally the street before Chris's house,
Yep.
he got into a car accident.
Totaled his car.
And totaled his car.
The sequence of events was actually kind of ridiculous. Like we're in the basement and we're just like kind of chilling and talking, and we hear loud like a huge. It sounds like a tree fell.
Huge bang.
And we're like, holy crap! And then
we've got the back door open and some windows open down there, so you can hear pretty much everything that's happening in the neighborhood.
But it felt like it wasn't too close, but close enough that something must have happened. And then Chris's dad comes over. He's like, "Yo, some person got in a car accident. It's crazy." And we're like, "Dang, that's crazy." We could hear all from here. We didn't know what it was. 2 minutes later, Sonny comes like, "Yo, my friend who's coming here, I think he just got in a car accident." And we're like, "Oh shit."
We're like, "Where?"
wait. So we were like flipping out for a second, and then we all just went outside and helped him out. He was relatively okay, but damn, yeah, he totaled his car too. So that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that was a doozy.
Just a cursed event, yeah, like Sonny said.
Cursed episode. So be careful when you listen to it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people listen to our podcasts and stuff while driving.
Be careful, Paul.
Just don't listen to that one. You're fine.
Yeah.
And don't listen to Sonny's podcast, the ghost one at Sonny's house. I mean, because
Sonny's house is haunted as well.
Mm-hmm.
It'll get you, man.
Just hearing you guys talk about your
Guys,
dreams.
I just listened to it on the way here.
All right.
You'll be fine.
So
Hopefully.
you heard about the doll, right? Sonny's doll in his house.
No, I think he's referring to
talking
the
about
car
the car
crash.
I
crash.
read the car crash.
Oh,
Yeah.
the car crash on.
I think you heard about her.
The cruising
ghost
for
one.
bruising.
Right.
And,
All right, well, Sonny, do you got any like interesting dreams? Because I mean, I know you got a lot of interesting things that could be considered dreams, but for you, those are reality. I'm sure.
Nah, I have tons of dreams.
All right, hold up. Oh, sorry. Hit us up.
Ross getting comfy.
I'm getting
All
comfy.
right. So there's this one dream where it's gone sexual. And basically what happened is that I made love to one of my friends. And basically what happened
Wait.
is that we had children together, but they were aliens.
Wait, what?
They're aliens.
Just for the sake of my own satisfaction, was this friend of yours male or female?
It was female, don't worry.
It wasn't me.
No.
It wasn't me either. Dang
No.
it.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. It was like in high
Sonny's
school.
hoeing around.
Yeah, it was in high school.
huh?
Yeah.
So
and,
you have an excuse. You didn't know me back then.
All right, that's
Yeah,
that's
and
I expect better.
I told this person knows about this dream because I told her. And basically, yeah, we had alien children together, and then there was this evil doctor that wanted to destroy my alien babies, and I didn't want that. So I let my babies go on a rampage, and they killed everybody on Earth.
Oh my god, Sonny, what the hell?
Yeah, it was like a bloody mess, and I woke up with a smile.
Holy shit! Holy shit!
Well, if that isn't Sunny in a nutshell, I don't know.
That's sunny for you. But now I have a question. How did she react when he told her?
She was like, "What the fuck, Sonny?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was a cool dream. I liked it." And then I had this other dream where I was in this school of geniuses, and everything was golden. There was like golden seats, golden tables and stuff, and there was like a
Golden
robot.
showers.
and there was like a robot teacher and stuff, and I was part of like we were all evil geniuses and stuff like that, and I don't know, we were trying to take over the world, and in the end, I woke up right in the middle when the robot professor was about to take me to detention, and I woke up.
What did you do? Why'd you get in trouble?
I don't know. I think I blew him up or something, and he came back.
Wait, you blew him up and he gave you detention?
Yeah, because
But it's a robot. I mean,
he
people
like
are-
self-repaired himself, and he came back and he gave me detention.
He's like, you're getting detention for that. Damn.
And then there's another one. There was like, it was so weird. It was like the whole world was frozen, and people were frozen. And then there was this one person, like a very special person. She was like frozen ice, and there was like barbed wire all wrapped around her. And
So
there,
like a danger sign all over her. Pretty
yeah.
much.
And then there's like, I don't know, we're trying to like gather her blood or something. And I had there's this game called Guitaru Man, and they have like special weapons which are like instruments, and basically what I was trying to do, I was trying to use her blood to power up the magical weapon, like magical instrument of power. And then there was this like vampire chick that wanted my blood. And so she got me down and she started sucking. Sucking my blood.
That good suck.
And I woke up. I was like, damn. I was sweating and stuff because it felt pretty weird. It was hot.
That sounds hot.
Damn, Sonny.
I don't know, but like if that were like a show or something, like I've watched enough to know that you're probably the villain, and the person
No, he's the protagonist.
and the person in the ice is definitely not the protagonist, but the person that the protagonist needs to save.
Good. And the
So,
Paul.
so the vampire's probably the protagonist.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. It was a frozen world, and I just needed to defeat that. And Paul's dream about him feeling like getting eaten alive. I also had that kind of dream, where I was in a safari zone, and I was
Like
near,
Pokemon?
No, not like Pokemon, but
Like a real safari.
yeah, like a real safari. And basically, I went up to this like lake or something like that, and it had a sign where it says "Danger, alligators." And so I went up there. and,
Wait. Sonny, you can read in your dreams?
Yeah.
I thought you couldn't read, or was it you can't tell time?
I think you can't tell time.
Oh, okay.
It was just a sign that said "Danger, like alligators." And so
Huh.
I went to the very like bed of it, and then a fucking crocodile came out, and my whole dream changed style, like art style.
Art style?
Yeah.
No, okay, right there. I'm gonna have to agree. There are art styles in dreams, and it changes depending on what's going on. All right, sorry.
Oh,
continue.
really?
Yeah.
like
We'll have to talk about that later.
Okay, yeah. Hold up.
Yeah, it became like it would change from realistic to like South Park. So what would happen is
That's
that
funny.
it's weird because you see my hand, I'm like moving like the paper alligator, and I'm using the paper like figure of me, and I'm just like shaking around, and it's just me being eaten, and I feel it, and like my gut, like I'm getting like shaked around. in
Oh,
my
that's
bed.
like that's
Dang.
like Paul, yeah.
yeah,
So you like felt it.
yeah, and in the end I was like ripped to shreds.
Damn.
It's kind of like the Matrix, where you don't die because you die. You die because your mind thinks you died. Whatever. Like you get shot, and then your mind believes it so much that it actually makes a difference in your body or whatever.
I think that's so true. And I think that we could follow up a little bit about like the process of thoughts and stuff like that later too. But I kind of want to address the art style thing, man.
Okay, before we get into that, you can't read or can't tell time. What's that?
So I don't remember where I heard this, but I'm pretty sure. I remember. So I wanted to learn how to lucid dream. Can you guys do that?
Yeah,
You can lucid dream?
no,
I
just know about
tried
it.
learning it. I failed.
I
I
heard it's
also
pretty-
like
I heard
I
it's
couldn't
pretty
commit to it.
terrifying.
Okay,
Yeah, I couldn't
so
commit to it.
so is this like a dream that you control?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're fully conscious in the dream.
I do that when I'm awake. I daydream a lot.
Okay,
But
okay.
a real dream that I control, no.
Yeah, so like you,
I
so
don't
for
remember
instance,
enough
like
of my dreams.
you could be like, okay, I want to fly now, so you can just like fly, like you just control the dream's direction and everything, like you're like an all powerful whatever in your mind. But I was watching this video how to lucid dream, and he said that one of the things that you could do to realize that you were in a dream, and you had to practice it because the first time you realize it or the first few times you realize it, it's kind of jolting and it'll actually wake you up.
Okay, so I've realized I've been in a dream multiple times in my life. I've never been able to control the dream, but I've been able to decide to leave. That's as far as I've gotten, but that's just on accident.
I would say that's you're getting on the right track at least. I've never realized I'm dreaming.
But once you said it's too jolting, I'm gonna just agree because I've never actually gotten to the point where I've ever controlled anything. Like
So-
once I realize I'm in a dream,
Yeah.
I'm pretty much awake now.
It
Like-
could be that you're on the right track for it. So like lucid dreaming, yeah, you control it, but one of the things that the guy was like telling me you could look for is you can't tell time in your thing, or like if you're wearing a watch or something, it'll just be going like crazy or something like that. I don't know what that is all about, but I don't think that you can tell time in dreams, allegedly. I don't know. And then I thought that it was maybe reading too. I don't necessarily know if you can read or not. I can't really remember.
Interesting. I have the only thing I think that might be able to connect to that is, and I could be wrong about this, but I think it's if, let's say, you perceive your dream to be like, let's say, a few minutes long, it was actually only a few seconds. Like, it only took a few seconds for your entire dream to be, like, realized.
So I don't know if that was debunked or not, because I
or
think
it's
that you
the other way
actually dream in
around.
real time.
Oh, you dream in real time?
I think that people have discovered that now.
Oh, okay.
I think that used to be the theory is the dream happens in a very short time of span in real life.
And then the
but
rest of you
it's
actually just
perceived
sleep.
as slow. But I think that you actually dream in real time is what the theory is now.
Interesting.
So I can never seem to finish my dreams because I just wake up like too early, man. But
Well, I mean, I don't know if I finished my dream or not. It's just that when I wake up, I only rarely remember my dreams.
Mhm.
And it's only if it's, like, really jolting or something. Sometimes I only remember the feeling. You know, it's not...
it's like when I want to continue my dream
Like,
and
I
see where
probably
it
have
goes.
crazy good dreams. I just can't tell you guys because I don't even know.
Yeah, I know.
That's true. That's
So
true.
you just can't remember. Like I can't. Excuse me. I can't get back into a really cool dream that I'm having. Like it seems to only be the bad ones that I don't want to remember is what I go back to.
Mhm.
But like Riza, for instance, she does this thing where she literally. It's not limited to dreaming. This is just in regular everyday life. She can't stop doing something until she sees it through to the end. Like she will not stop reading like a book or watching a show or whatever because she has to know what happens. Like
Alright.
she has to know.
I'm going to have to disagree with that.
I also,
I
like-
can't watch an unfinished show. Like, if someone recommends me a show, I'm like, is it done?
Oh, I see.
That's why I'm more of a movie guy because I know when it starts, it ends.
Yeah. So like for her, even if she doesn't like the book or the movie, she'll literally like just skim the last couple pages, or she'll watch like clips here and there of every episode just to like know what happens in the end. Like she has this thing where she cannot just put something down. She has to know like what happens. And
Alright.
and so that translates into her dreams too, because when she's dreaming, she has to know like what the end of it is, or like the perceived end, I guess it would be. And so she'll literally just like, if she wakes up or something like that, she'll fall back asleep and then force herself to continue it until it's over. I can't do that.
I didn't even know you could do that.
I don't have the drive. I think that it comes from an internal drive that she has. Like this, she literally can't just like put something down and not finish it. Like she has to finish it.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. I'm like the opposite. I can easily drop something. I don't care. But she has like, she really cares. So I feel like that is kind of how it translates into almost like a subconscious sort of activity in the form of like dreaming. You know what I mean?
Could it also be like, you know how sometimes all of our memories are not exactly accurate?
Yeah.
We fill in the holes. Sometimes we know we're filling the holes, but most times we don't even know. Like I have memories from like when I'm a kid where some of the elements could have been totally wrong. Like my family, everyone remembers it a different way than I do. But it's because my mind automatically filled in the pieces. So it could be that the story was finished because, I don't know, maybe when she went back to sleep, her mind was so unokay with it that it just fucking finished it for her.
Yeah, I feel like that would happen.
Like almost like an like a mild form, like some sort of OCD, like you just need something done a certain way or whatever.
She just really has to finish things. Yeah.
Interesting.
You know what's interesting that you brought that up is so if you guys don't know, Vsauce, you know the YouTube channel Vsauce?
Yeah.
Vsauce here.
Until yeah, until the end of the year, every episode of Vsauce's premium show Minefield is free, which is great because like I would totally watch it, but it's like premium, and I'm not gonna buy a YouTube premium subscription, obviously.
Why would you?
Why the hell would I? But this particular show is free, and so he actually did an experiment where he's tried to place a memory of something that never happened into someone's head, and then they filled the details in around it, and it actually worked.
Remember the time we were, and then
Yeah.
he kind of does that.
So like basically what the thing was is they were in Los Angeles, and then he presents two truths and a lie essentially, but he plays them all off as true. So he's like, oh yeah, like when you were a child you had like this friend and then you did this thing, and then the second one was like you had this experience, and then the third one, which was the lie, and he did this for like three different people. He said that you went on your first hot air balloon ride over the park in Los Angeles and you dropped something. And he adds that drop
That
something
was so
to be specific.
that's so specific, and I think the mind's, well, at least in my opinion, the mind's first thing that's going to grab onto is what did I drop?
Yeah. And so you start thinking of it. And so what he does is he plants that in their minds a few days before, and then he takes them out for a drive and says, and this is where you guys had your first hot air balloon ride. Do you remember? And they're like, yeah, I remember now. I dropped my like superhero toy or something like that, and then my mom took us all to get ice cream after or something like that. Like they literally believed that they had this memory because of the power of like suggestion.
Interesting. Damn, that's actually kind of scary.
It's crazy. So it's just like all these things that
Who
you
am
could
I?
possibly think of. So it's it's pretty interesting. That's like a hell of a good show, man. Like I would definitely recommend it, especially throughout the rest of the year because it's free.
Sounds like something from like Mythbusters.
Yeah, they take a very Mythbuster approach. Like another one they did is that thought experiment where 5 people are on train track A and one person's on train track B, and if you pull the lever,
which
it'll
one do you run
divert.
over or whatever.
Yeah, they actually ran that like an actual real experiment, and 2 people pulled the lever, and then I think a couple of them did not.
I want to see that.
You should watch it. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so
Alright, put that in the.
Yeah,
description
I'll link these in the description.
Yeah, but that's kind of you could potentially save the lives of 5 people at the cost of one other. So if it was a numbers game, you would make that decision. But now the difference is you're now taking responsibility for that
Exactly,
person
yeah.
by touching the lever and actually moving it.
Exactly.
And that's just a mind fuck.
I think at that moment I would jump on the track.
Take me instead. Oh my god!
Just push them all off and take it.
Just take the L.
I can't take it. I can't take this pressure.
That's true. I would not handle that very well. I'd probably freeze. Like I wouldn't want to do anything because then I don't know what would make me more liable. Would be my lack of action or my action.
So liable in what context? Legal or
Legal.
Okay, legally, that's a pretty good answer because you could say I froze, and then no matter what happens, you wouldn't be exactly responsible. But if you take that action and kill one person, you could be sued and say
Exactly.
you actually did. But
Like
if I'm talking mental, morally, and ethically, if I didn't freeze, I would totally kill the one person.
Sure. Yeah.
I'd pray for forgiveness, but that's like I did. In the situation, I did the best I could.
Yeah.
And that's assuming I go past the freeze stage.
Yeah.
Chances are I'll probably just freeze and not know what the fuck to do.
I would freeze and I would probably just leave.
Watch.
I don't know. I couldn't watch that, but I would leave though. But
so now that you have that scenario in your head, you can always just you have to
Maybe
come to
have a dream of it now.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
you have to
God.
come to the realization that inaction is also a choice.
that's true. And I think the whole point was people say they would do one thing, but what they actually act on, what they actually do, is different from what they say.
Are you more bark or are you more bite?
Yeah, and that was the entire point of the experiment was to see are people's. It was almost like an economics thing, which was cool. I really like that. Like the experimental design of it is, when you're presenting someone with a choice, will they accept it in that moment?
Very
Scary.
interesting.
It was really cool though. But
back to that art style thing.
yeah, I was just gonna say like
Okay.
I really want to get into that.
All right, so the shift to fucking South Park style, that's funny.
Yeah.
The only thing that for me it's less art style and more like thematic. Like when I had that Skyrim dream, I can still remember not the feel. I don't remember the feel anymore. I just remember feeling angry afterwards that like my dad woke me up. But I still remember that look. It was just that glow, just that orange warm glow.
Were
And
you eating with the Jarl?
okay, so that's the thing. There was no Jarl or King. There was a seat. There was no one there. There were people, but I don't remember any of the faces or anything. The only thing I remember is it was all not cartoony, but like animated. It was all animated.
It was like in the Skyrim art style.
Yeah, so it was like
Stiff movement.
You were at Helgen.
yes, but it was. It didn't even look like that though. It was like more smooth than that. It was slightly more realistic. But when I was doing the driving, my car like recurring nightmare. It was way too realistic. I felt my hands move. I felt the gears because it's a stick shift.
Yeah,
I can feel myself trying to like fumble through the gears, and I don't remember what I look like. I don't remember the road. I just know the feel.
Because it's like a first person POV sort of.
Yes, it's a point of view type of thing. It's like this is gonna fucking suck. Like I'm gonna hit something, and the art style only changed in the middle of a dream after the accident or during the accident. I was now outside of the car. Not me, my body was still inside, but like you know, kind of like the camera, I'd say, is that outside of the car, and everything turns 2D, and I'm just spiraling out of control.
Right.
It just turns weird.
Is yours like that too, Paul? Like you have art styles or anything?
I'm not sure about art style. I can't remember that much in detail, but I will say that some of my dreams are in first person view, and some of them are sort of like
Third person.
it's almost like third person. Like I am. I guess the closest thing I would say is third person. Like I can almost like I can.
You can kind of see your body.
Kind of, not like fully, but like almost if I was kind of like a specter above. Like if there was a camera attached to the top of my head. That's how. That's
It's like a GoPro.
yeah. Almost like
Maybe a second person.
Oh, maybe.
maybe actually, yeah.
Because you are doing that,
Hmm.
but you're not actually doing it, you know?
Interesting.
I guess that's one way to look at it.
Yeah. So one of my dreams are thematic. When I did the for the dream where I used the bathroom, and for the dream where I woke up and saw that dude, and then there was like the bugs everywhere, that was very realistic, because I knew the person, I knew the look of my house, I knew the look of the bathroom, everything felt like and looked real.
Yeah.
Whereas everything else, the car one was more like a movie to me, where it was first person, and then the other one was because I just happened to be playing Skyrim. I feel like some of those elements just came at me in a dream.
Yeah.
Where I was like, oh, I'm eating the food at the main hall or whatever. Like that's what it felt like.
Man, you ever have dreams and there's people from your past that you haven't seen in years? Haven't thought about them, haven't seen them, haven't given them any care in the world, and then they're just in your dream.
I have something like that. Yeah.
It's so crazy,
I
right?
remember this one time I had a dream where I was playing a violin for like this wedding thing, and it happened in real life because when I was a monk, we went to this kind of garden, and there was like a kind of reception going on for like a wedding, and I was like prancing around like trying to play a violin because there's like violin music going on for there, and you guys just see like the bride and groom like waving hi to me because they see this little monk boy like play the violin while he's like prancing around, like following the line of other monks.
That sounds
and
amazing.
I had a dream about them. Like I felt like I had a dream where I met them on the street.
Oh,
And I feel like I knew them as like friends, but I had no idea who these people were.
that's interesting.
It's scary.
You said it happened to you too, Paul, right?
Yeah, it did. But it was I wouldn't say something like Sunny's though. It was like like they were friends, they were acquaintances I
Right.
had known.
In the past.
Yes, in the past, and like maybe like old high school friends or like
Yeah.
family members I have not seen in a very long time. I don't have any specific examples I can tell you on the top of my head right now, but I know what Sunny's talking about, but just not a random couple that you saw on the street.
I had a dream about Chris.
Oh, yeah?
Oh wait,
Yeah.
hold on. Let's let Paul finish. Hold on.
Well, I mean, that's a good transition because I was just gonna say I have a lot of dreams with all like my current friends, like with you guys. I had a dream at least with all of you in it.
I remember you
Okay.
telling me about that. Yeah.
All right, let's get into that. But this was Sunny. You said you had a dream with Chris.
Yeah, it was a hot dream, but no. But
Steven?
Wait. Was this the car ride?
yeah, it was the car
Oh.
ride.
Yeah.
Me and Chris.
I was hoping you'd bring this up.
And yeah.
Yo, this
it
was one of your first thinking of starting the podcast, wasn't it?
Yeah, back in
Yeah.
the day, man.
And
Good
yeah,
days at
I was just
McDonald's.
riding with Chris, and we were just driving through like this foresty area, and it was just like I was in his car. I didn't like before, like I didn't remember how Chris's cars looked like, But then when it came to reality, when we were going to like to eat some food, and there it was. I was walking with Chris, and everything just like kind of like fell into place. I was like, whoa, this is just like my dream. And then when we were finally driving, and I was looking around, looking at the scenery, and I saw, and I had to tell Chris because it was just freaking me out. I was like, Chris. He's like, what? And I was like, this is like in my dream, Chris. And we're driving together, and I remember like your car and everything, and like we're just having this exact moment together in my dream. And I woke up, and it was crazy.
Yeah, that's when we started holding hands.
Mm-hmm. Riding off into the sunset.
Had a very special moment together.
Yeah. No, but I remember you telling me about the dream and you saying that the sky looked the exact same way, and then maybe a little bit of the scenery, and then when you got inside of my car, the interior matched what it was in your dream. But I don't think that I've ever driven you before that point.
Yeah, before that, he mentioned he didn't know what your car looked like.
Yeah. So I think he probably knew that I drove like a Honda or something like that, but he didn't necessarily know like what it looked like on the outside or inside. Maybe
it's always kind of scary to have those kind of dreams where it comes into reality.
It's like a premonition or something.
I have several of those dreams.
Because you got deja vu a lot, right?
I do.
I kind of feel like deja vu might be tied in with dreams too, but I don't really know. Like that would be interesting to talk about too. But yeah.
Oh, I have a perfect example for that one. So I had this dream. First, I guess I'll get some back information. So in May, I went to New York with a group of my friends, and I say 6 months prior to the trip, I had a dream where I was at a hibachi grill, and I remember literally every single detail. My friend, like 2 of my friends were on my left, 2 of my friends on my right, except there was another person on my right sitting right next to me. I didn't know him, didn't know his name, didn't know anything about him. 3 months later, I met the same person.
Oh,
it was crazy.
That is
same
crazy.
Name, same.
So you were
look.
You were in New York with a group of friends, but one of them was someone you did not know, and who's sitting on your right.
And 3 months later, I happened to meet that same person.
Oh,
So,
And this was not in New York.
not yet. So this is
okay.
so, 6 months prior to the New York trip, and then 3 months
And then
after
3
I had the
months.
dream,
So
I
right in
met
the
the
middle.
person.
Got it.
And then on the New York trip, we just happened to go to a hibachi place. The exact same one from my dream. And I'm not kidding. Everything was exactly the same. 2 of my friends who were in the dream were sitting to my left. Same thing on the right. And I was sitting next to the person who
You just met 3 months prior.
yes.
Hey.
And here's the part where it's not realistic. We're just, at the time in the dream, we're just talking, having fun, eating our hibachi dinners. And then, all of a sudden, to my right, a yellow bus just comes crashing through the wall and murders every single one of us.
Well, goddamn, Paul.
So, I was in the dream. So, when we actually went to Hibachi Grill and sat down in the exact same positions, I'm like, wait a minute.
You're like
This
looking
seems
around.
familiar.
Final Destination up in there.
I'm like,
It's
only.
like, oh, we about to hit destination fucked.
So, I tell them the exact same dream, and they're like, they actually get spooked.
I would too.
Yeah, it's like,
creepy.
Paul, you're telling me that you had a dream where this exact thing was happening and a bus is about to come through that.
Scary thing was a bus actually did come, just happened. So like behind us there was a yellow bus driving by.
Interesting.
I think when you see those kind of dreams where you see your own death, I think it's just an alternate version of you dying.
I kind of feel like you're right.
The whole Schrodinger thing.
Okay, interesting.
If in one timeline you die, another time you live. Basically, every time a choice is made, another timeline is born, pretty much. So that's why there's an infinite number of timelines.
So right now I'm
That's like
living
a butterfly.
in this dimension where I live, but then in the other dimension I fucking got wrecked.
So by that logic, that means I have been eaten by dinosaurs at
Yeah.
least 10 times in my lifetime.
So your ancestor got fucked, but the one ancestor that didn't get fucked continue on. And then the Paul from the hibachi grill, he died, but then you lived on.
That's actually pretty crazy.
So it's
man.
not-
What if we die in our dreams, but our soul transfers to a different dimension, so we can continue our lives until
Respawn.
Yeah, basically we respawn.
and then you choose a different route. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
It's definitely an interesting thought.
I'm more
process.
of a there's a singular track line. There's only one timeline.
Mm-hmm.
The other timelines that could have happened, if they didn't happen, they didn't happen.
I totally believe in. So we actually talked about this, Paul. I kind of believe in destiny.
Oh yes, this topic.
Destiny.
I don't know if I want to get into it for this episode because it's already pretty long. But we should totally follow up on that. Like this idea of timelines and decisions and choices and things like that. But that kind of brings me to the point that I wanted to make earlier about thoughts.
All right, bring it.
So I was in my car driving to work today, and I was just having some YouTube on in the background because I like to just do that sometimes. Just like listen to YouTube commentary or whatever, like while I drive. And so today I was listening to this dude on YouTube named Noah Elkreef. And he's like a best-selling author, and he's basically like a self-help kind of guy. And his whole shtick is that situations in life that you find yourself in do not cause you to feel anxious or sad or mad or unhappy or whatever. Thoughts do. And the way that he goes about demonstrating this is he says that, for example, say that you have like a really shitty boss or something, right? And every day you kind of hate the idea of going into work, and you're kind of fearing like, oh my god, maybe I'm going to get fired, or maybe I'm doing this wrong, or I could be better here, or I'm scared what my boss is going to say to me. All these thoughts are getting in your head, and you're getting anxious, you're getting depressed, you're getting flustered. But then your coworker comes along and tells you a funny story or a joke, and in that moment you're distracted from your thoughts, you're enjoying that moment, and you're laughing along with your friend. You actually feel fine. That kind of is evidence that a lot of suffering is totally internal. So rather than the situation causing you pain, suffering, anxiety, depression, it's the thoughts that you have that turn those thoughts into emotion and feeling, right? So essentially what he's trying to say is that when you start to say that something is going to be bad, it's because that you've already decided that thing is going to be bad.
Predisposed notion almost, like you've already have a mindset towards it. So like even if something happens, like I'm just gonna like jump in here. I'm gonna agree with you wholly. When you started this, I thought you were gonna actually pull out the quote because you started halfway, right? It was like it is not the situation that made you mad, angry, sad, flustered, whatever. I thought you were gonna say it is your reaction to the situation. You said thoughts, but that's pretty much the same thing. It's how you perceive the situation. It's honestly, like, I know it sounds cliche, but it's so true.
It is true, and I think that
I saw this post that really, like, it didn't resonate with me as much, but I felt like I could tell this to a lot of people. Did you really have a bad day, or did you have a bad moment that you milked for the rest of the day?
That's true, yeah.
Like there are times when you're just so hung up on something like that. Though going into a work story is like so real.
Yeah.
There are times when, like, especially like if I'm hanging out with friends, hanging out with you guys, and I forget, my entire outlook has changed. Now, if that same boss or that same person that I've had issues with comes and says the same exact thing, but my mental setting was different because of some stimulus. I'm now with friends, or I was in the middle of a game, or like something happened. I'm now completely okay with it. I'm like, all right, let me just take this shit, whatever, and then go back to. It all comes down to that mindset.
I think that's true, and a lot of the time, it's like you were saying earlier. We've already decided that something's going to be bad for us. So, like, another example he uses is if you have a job interview, for example, you would be kind of anxious, like, maybe I didn't do very well in the interview, or I'm scared that they won't pick me. You're scared that they won't pick you because you have decided that not getting the job would be bad. What you're not taking into consideration is that it might not be a good thing for you to have that job. And
interesting.
So,
and that's kind of where the destiny part comes in?
Not necessarily. We can talk about destiny another time.
Okay, that's fair.
But this is purely reacting, to your own stimulus, to your own situation. So, for example, you could one day be driving to that job and get hit by a car and die. That would obviously be bad for you.
that'd be worse for you than getting the job, right? You could be poor at the job. You could get fired from it. You could be accepting a job that takes you away from an opportunity that would have been better for yourself. So when you start to say, I don't know if this is bad, I don't know if this is good, I don't know if this is bad, your fear and your negative emotions evaporate almost instantly. And I've actually put this into practice a few times. See, Noah Elkreef, he makes a lot of videos, but they all boil down to the exact same thing, is I don't know. And when you start to shift your perception from, I know that this is bad, I know that this is good, to, well, maybe this is not as good as I thought it would be, or maybe this would be bad, or maybe this would be bad, or you just don't know. When you start to shift your perception to saying things like, I don't know, that takes away a lot of misery.
So it's less about the response, I don't know, and more about the acceptance that I don't know.
It's about expectation versus reality.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. It's not like saying I don't know to a situation to get away from it, because I know that's a very common response. It's more that accepting that, okay, I literally do not know if I might say that this is bad for me, but
yeah,
like it's this interesting thing I heard once. It fucked me up a little bit. It was like people are always scared about, like, if you want to pass, you don't want to change one little thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The cascade effect or whatever, the butterfly effect. There's different things that you don't want to fuck up your present. All right, I'm not going to go into all the time theory stuff, but if that's true, why don't we feel the same way about the little things we do today and our future?
Mm-hmm. That is very true. Yeah,
it's like all the little things that we do, all the little like efforts that we put in, all the progress that we think might be minimal. Why don't we still do it? Because that could make a huge difference in the future. And I mean that kind of sits in with your mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of a good self-help thing that I still need to work on right there.
Yeah,
I'm actually impressed that you decided to actually put that into practice, because like,
well, when I put it into the
really
context of my own life, it actually made perfect sense to me. Like, for example, I was pretty stressed out over my job interview when I was going through that process, and I eventually did get the job, and I think it did turn out to be for the best, but it just as easily could have not been. If the situations were slightly different, if certain events in time had happened earlier than they actually did in reality, the job would not have nearly been as fulfilling. Because something changed in the last few months, I could have accepted the job way later in time, and I would have been going through it now versus earlier, and I wouldn't be on the same career path as I am now.
Interesting.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You just don't know.
So like before the job interview, you already made you already had the notion that if I don't get the job interview, that is bad. If I do get it, you didn't even care about the problems at the job. You're like, if I get the job, that is good.
Yeah.
You just assumed, and then once so I guess that does come back to like expectation versus reality, and that could be applied to literally any aspect of life.
And the other kind of big takeaway from this is that happiness, which is the ultimate goal of life to me, is I just want to be happy, right? And I think that's true for a lot of people. They might go about it in a different way. They think that, well, if I want to be happy, I want to be successful, or I need to have this, or I need to do this certain thing, or I want like this to happen, right?
So everyone has different versions of success or what success means to them. Understood.
Right. But the problem with that is you're looking externally for things to make you happy. But things external to you can't make you happy. Only you can make you happy. It's how you choose to look at the situation that you're placed in that can make you happy. Because when you get the thing that you're chasing for so long, for me, for example, I was chasing a job, I was chasing a career path.
It could be as meaningless as a toy or like a video game or something like that, or an achievement.
Anything. All my problems in life, or so I thought, were coming from the fact that I didn't have a job yet and I was really stressing out over it and I just really wanted a job and all my problems would disappear. Reality check, I have more problems now than I ever did back in college because of this fucking job. So it's like, you can chase
the problem you had. So I think the takeaway was you're always going to have something else to worry about. Because once we get one thing, what do we as humans like do? We fixate on something else. I want the next thing, the bigger thing. Mm-hmm. So it's not about going for happiness. I'm just going to agree with you.
You got to find it inside.
It's satisfaction.
Yeah, and you just have to change your perception and rather than perceive things
as being negative. See it as an opportunity to either learn or advance, and just admit that you don't know that something's bad for you or good for you. You just don't know. It could be that you meet someone that changes your life professionally or romantically or whatever, or maybe you read like an amazing book that changes your life, or you start developing a skill, or you play a game, or you do anything. You just don't know. And so I think that when you take a step back and kind of acknowledge that you don't know all the possible outcomes, you're not omniscient or whatever, that's when you can start to say, you know what, I'm going to try and be a little bit more open-minded or optimistic or positive about this moving forward. And you can start to develop this foundation of like confidence or happiness or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's essentially his argument, which I thought was pretty compelling.
I mean, I can resonate with like a lot of that. I feel like that's fair. It's a bit of a sounds cliche, but honestly, it's to the most part I would consider it just true.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that can help some people out, because I know that's going to help me out, because one of the things that's been stopping me from achieving a lot of things that I wanted to do in life, or just taking care of myself mentally, was fear of failure. And honestly, a fear of this is kind of addresses that. In that
It's kind of like, if you do fail, maybe that
was for the best.
like a roundabout way to success. Yeah.
Maybe it was for the best, or it's like you said, it could just be an opportunity to do something else, or maybe that particular, what I perceived as success in that particular endeavor wasn't the actual goal.
Right.
Or it probably wasn't best for me.
Yeah. Anyway,
Dreams.
dreams, man. Just keep chasing them. Keep having them. Yeah. Well, I guess that's pretty much it for this one. I don't know.
Nice. Peace out, guys. Thanks, Paul. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.